Welcome to the Protein Bros podcast. I am your guest, Adam Gross. With me are Jeff Wasserman and Kyle.
Kyle Combs.
What's up, guys?
Kyle Combs.
Jeff Wasserman. We are your hosts of the Protein Bros podcast. As you already heard, Adam Gross is our podcast guest today. Adam is a man of many talents.
Handsome.
Super handsome to start off with.
Business owner. Great guy. Friend of ours for a while.
He's he's a man of many hats, and we're going to get into that. But right now, you may know him as the front man for Froning Farms. Rich Froning is the name there, right?
Yeah.
And Froning Farms specializes specifically in bison-based jerky.
Yes, we do.
And what other bison snacks?
It'll be bison jerky right now, mainly bison sticks, things like that. We do some merch too, hats.
Biltong as well?
Biltong as well, yeah.
Biltong as well.
Jeff did CrossFit on Monday, and he's thinking that he might be able to beat Rich now. Is there any chance of that happening?
Dude, I got a good day in. It was right in my wheelhouse.
He did some kettlebell swings.
Kettlebell swings, push-ups, some double unders. I was able to do them.
I'm impressed that he can do double unders.
One at a time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Double unders singles.
Double under singles.
Yeah. To be clear, I'm not a great CrossFit guy, so I always let everybody know that up front. But I'm still looking for something I can beat Rich at. I'm just not sure I'm going to find it anytime soon.
Have you
should play
played
him in
Rich and
cards
other
or
things?
something?
Yeah. Have you paper, rock, scissors him or something?
No, that's probably the way to do it.
For our listeners, how many times has Rich Froning won the CrossFit Games as an individual competitor?
I think he won it 4, right?
4
as an individual and 5 as a team.
In a row, to be clear as well, right?
Yeah.
4 in a row. And then on top of that, as a team, how many times?
I think they did 5 as a team, and he's gotten second twice.
Yeah, he got. I remember the year that he got second. Him standing up on the podium. I saw a picture of him, and he looked pissed.
Yeah, he was. Yeah, I remember that post too, because I apparently have that face on my face when I watch all my son's sports, whether they're winning or losing. I don't mean to, resting dad face, but
So the competitive nature flows through your company pretty hard.
Yeah, I'm super blessed with those guys. They're just good people. They're like family to me, as you guys know what you guys are for each other. But I mean, Rich grew up with like 20 cousins, so it's just like they're all athletes, college football players and everything. So what you see is what you get. Like everything they do is that way,
Super competitive.
How long has Froning Farms been in business?
So they founded it in 2016, just kind of trademarked it and stuff, and then I came on with them and we kind of like launched the company in 2019.
Nice, man.
So question, because how this started, I feel like you had to go out and seek out Rich. I mean, like Rich is not like somebody you had in your pocket. He's not like a friend of yours. You seeked him out, correct? To partner with him, right? Yeah,
it's a crazy story. So I literally didn't know anything about Rich because I wasn't a huge CrossFit fan, and we had a men's Bible study, and the video they played that day was of Rich and kind of about his tattoo and his testimony. I was like, that dude's legit. So at the time I was with E3 Meat Company, and I was like, that needs to be one of our ambassadors. He's just like-minded. So I met him. We went and cooked for an event and just hit it off, think the same, just solid family, good guys. And we were reading some of the same books and stuff. So we literally I joined his men's Bible study group, in the Bible app. So we got close that way because you're just commenting with other guys every day. And, a couple years later, it's just kind of like, hey, do you like bison? And I left the meat company and it was supposed to happen.
Well, let's back up there. So explain to everybody what E3 Meats is and who your partner was on that.
So before I exploited this famous friend, and I had a best friend that I grew up with that played baseball, Adam LaRoche, and
World Series winner.
Yeah, he's just a really good human. First off, but he was raising beef at his ranch, and all of his baseball player and other connection people were buying it. So he was like mailing coolers, like duct taping coolers, and sending it like ridiculous. So I was working for a corporate pork company at the time, and I'm like, you can't do that. You're literally breaking like every law, shipping across state lines and everything else. So it's kind of funny. And so we formed that. We said, let's form a company. So I left my job there, and I did that with my brother and Adam as the meat company. And it was, a lot of fun. Got to learn a lot about that side of the business. It was online, selling steaks and stuff like that. But inevitably, your best friend and your brother are business partners, and that's a tough one overall. And
that's really tough.
And Adam made his money, And I can't fault him. He's like the best human I know. And he's literally going out and fighting human trafficking all over the world now. So as a business partner, you can get frustrated with that, but as a friend, you couldn't be more proud. So I just decided to walk away and let them do, and they're doing well. And, obviously we're real close still, but this was just meant to happen. It's one of those things that I'm super thankful for, that the guys were there, and I'm a hustler no matter what. So I'm going to try.
In the meat industry though, like what makes that industry tough? Cause it's gotta be very cutthroat, right? Because so many people can do this.
Yeah. Ironically, First Form did it at the same processor that we did. So we literally use the same processor that First Form does.
Oh, to make the jerky?
Yeah.
Down in Springfield?
Yeah.
Oh, very cool.
Yeah. So, which is, I jokingly say that because First Form's a great company. And the guy, Thomas, is the guy down there who does really well. But it is cutthroat. I mean, it is, especially like the big protein, pork and beef. It's commodity based, and there's a few big boys. So it gets kind of ugly.
Tyson, Purdue.
Yeah.
Who else?
Just, farmland. I don't even know. I haven't followed all of the mergers and acquisitions and stuff. But
these are so meat packing, very different from the jerky industry, right? Or is it coincide well?
Very different. So that's why. So bison is niche. So that's why it shouldn't, in theory, go with the commodity in the market as much and be just, you got to sell something unique. It's easier. It's better, than trying to sell the millions of pounds. I think I read a statistic one time that the number of cattle killed a day equal the amount of bison killed a year, roughly.
Wow.
The number. I mean, that statistic is tells a lot with that. But yeah, there's not that many places to process, and they're owned. People buy people. So you may see a lot of craft brand jerkies that are actually owned by Jack's Links. You know what I mean? So the way they do that hustle. And so it was kind of like I was lucky because I had decent connections in the food, so I could find my way and get to good people and work the relationships there. But yeah, it is very different. In First Form, I mean, their stuff, they've done really well. Like, I love how they marketed it. The packaging, I think I've talked to you multiple times.
That breakfast sausage one they made is phenomenal.
Phenomenal. Yeah. And you and I mean, we talk about packaging, the color schemes and all these things, and they've done really well. And but you have the marketing, you have the personalities, the influence. That's what the big companies do not have generally. Yeah. They have the masses, but they don't have the story.
I got a buddy who's a farmer, and he said that basically once you kind of shuffle out everything with cattle, once you've basically fed them, paid for, factored in the cost of land and all of that, he's like, every cow is worth about $600 to him. And he's like, but that $600 can be gone really quickly because of, different things that happen to cattle. Cattle die, all sorts of things that will happen. And he was just like, it's just a tough industry right now. It's just not an easy way of making money. Yeah. And also it comes in big, you take cattle to the slaughterhouse, one time a year, or is it twice a year?
It depends what you're doing in your program is when you're cow calf and different stuff. But I mean, my brother's the ranch guy, but I do know, like, yes, there's so many variables.
You make a bunch of money, and then that's got to last you all year.
And if things turn.
Yeah.
And if grain goes up, if different things go up or down, or what you bottom at and all these things, there's tons of risks. I mean, we have bison, but not all the stuff you're eating is from our bison.
Are you guys dealing with the cost of inflation of feed and stuff like that right now?
Yeah. So we partner with one huge bison operation, and we've just been passed down some price increases. And so we're passing that on to our customers. I've waited as long as I can just because it hasn't hit us.
Yeah, no one wants to.
We've been dealing with that as well. And some of our price increases, it's been like, 70% increase. We had one company that basically doubled its wholesale costs on us. We're like, oh my God.
All Max Nutrition?
So
I'm just asking. I didn't know which one.
So, in that, if they're in a time, like we're launching our wholesale affiliate program, it's very difficult to come at them and go, okay, now we're going to tell you we're going to go way up, so it's just timing. But I think people do understand.
People understand right now because everything's expensive.
I mean, fuel, trucking. I just saw a trucking invoice yesterday that I was just like, oh my gosh, it's just.
Are you guys going to have to pivot at all on your business based on what you're seeing right now?
We had to pivot hard last year. So, I'm pretty transparent always with my story and stuff, how it goes. But, thankfully, when we launched, it was right before the pandemic started. So we were doing all these events and we had everything scheduled. So, yes, we have had to pivot. When we first launched, it was right before the pandemic, and I mean like weeks. So we had Wadapalooza, which is a big event in Miami. And I think 2 weeks later, the world shut down. So we had all these events, with like West Coast Classic, Rogue Classic, CrossFit Games. We were all scheduled, and we were going to start doing more affiliate stuff.
Was this 2020 or 2021?
2020.
Okay.
So right before that, and we were going to start out of the gate with the CrossFit affiliate boxes, some more point of sale. And so we had to change because we're like, well, those were starting to get shut down in different parts of the country. So we went more, ads and stuff like that.
Direct to consumer
online. That worked great for a year.
Yeah.
Really good. Better than I thought, honestly, just because the online ordering picked up. And then Facebook and Apple iOS last summer changed everything, the opt-out stuff. And overnight, like ads doubled in cost. So, as you get to challenges, like we did nothing wrong per se, but we weren't diverse enough in how we were doing it, just like a portfolio. So it's like, all right, we got to hustle. Yeah. I got to get Amazon ramped up. I got to get other avenues and get this affiliate thing back to play because now they're opening back up. So there's just always like that stuff to change and learn and go and look at it like it's not a failure, a defeat. It's just like
learn and keep going.
Just keep grinding, right?
So now is the focus of Froning Farms still obviously direct to consumer, but you guys are now increasing the amount of sales in CrossFit boxes?
Yeah. So that's my main thing I want to focus on is the affiliate program. We're on Rogue now. So that was like...
Oh, that's cool. Congrats, man.
Thank you. That was like a 10-year dream of mine. Like I was literally...
How awesome.
Yeah. I mean, it hasn't been big dollars, but it's just one of those things that you don't tell.
Legitimacy.
Yeah. And so I was like one of the original nerds wearing a Rogue shirt at a Luke Bryan concert or something like that. I was just always a big fan of their brand. So that was a cool one for me. It took forever, just the way it worked. But so stuff like that, then small grocery stores, Whole Foods and different, regional stuff.
You guys are in Whole Foods?
We're working towards it. Yeah. But these are, opportunities, but you got to have everything in line, and that's the pivot. So we got to get all this infrastructure, all the CRM, all the stuff. So
what does CRM stand for?
Like customer resource management, right? Like just to get emails and notifications and follow up stuff for people. If you sign up and order, you get a 30-day email, a 60-day email.
And this brand has been completely your baby, right? I mean, like, do you have anybody else at Froning Farms that helps you a great deal? I mean, I know that you're going to say they do, but I'm saying, does anybody help you with the day-to-day?
Oh yeah. I mean, honestly, my business partners are amazing. Rich is the content king. I mean, they have a video staff on hand 24/7. So that's amazing. And then my business partner, Matt, and his wife his wife's the MVP. Like she does all our merch, and they have full-time jobs. So she does that on the side and little kids.
Yeah.
Wow.
So they work in Tennessee. Those people are legit. But I mean, we're just always, doing what we got to do to make it. We have people, I think we have like 6 to 8 people on staff shipping and customer service and stuff like that. It depends on seasonality and stuff like that. But we ship out of Mayhem in Tennessee. So that's where all our stuff's stored and shipped.
That's awesome.
So when you guys were going through you guys had a period where you were selling a lot online and then your online sales dropped off. Did you guys implement anything for like customer retention during that time? Yeah. Or do you have like a specific plan that you've deployed to help with that?
So we did different things. I mean, like email, for example, SMS has been very good for us.
Follow-ups.
Yeah. So and I'm sure people listening, if they're signed up for our text, I'm sorry, that's my fault. But, so we had done different programs like King Kong Apparel. We did a cross promotion with them to get a backpack full of jerky. And that gave us like 4,000 text message numbers. And then that you can do for retention, and you can send an email that's way cheaper than an ad and stuff. You can't send 20 emails a month, but different things like that, and just other emails and things like that, because the ads were so much more expensive and the returns were so much worse because people didn't know that they opted out, but they did when they were updated.
Yeah.
That's wild.
Do you have
it's so shady, man.
Yeah, man. I had no idea.
That's why Facebook.
We don't do any direct to consumer, so
Facebook had a fourth quarter loss, and I'm smiling all the way. Like, good for you.
Dude, they dropped off a cliff as far as their valuation goes.
That's why they just changed it so much like that. I think they just got greedy and were humbled like the rest of us. So,
So with having Rich as a business partner, are you guys working to have like your stuff in, those CrossFit Games bags that they give out and all the promotional material? It seems like it would be an easy way to get into some high level influencers' hands to do that.
So we just came out with our influencer program, and we try to steal as much from First Form as we can because you guys do it really well. But I mean, we have people that signed up, and we're just slowly trying to leak that out. But yeah, the swag bag ideas for the events, like I think we did one for Wadapalooza. I don't know if we're doing one for the CrossFit Games, but it's a great idea. It just gets it out to people, especially something like meat that you got to dry. Right?
Yeah.
How much, I mean, do you have to pay a considerable amount of money to get your stuff in those bags?
No, I mean, thankfully, like the groups that like Loud and Live that own some of those events and different, they've been super cool. So like we generally get like a free booth at some of these things.
Because you're giving away so much.
Well, either that or because Rich is competing. So, but
Kyle's about to start eating the jerky.
I'm gonna have some Southwest Verde.
Go get it.
Oh, wow.
Oh, yeah.
Hook that up.
It's so soft and
so that's a totally
tender.
different product. Have you ever had that before?
No, I think this is my first one.
Yeah, this is biltong, right?
Yeah.
Totally different.
So it's not tongue.
It smells kind of spicy.
Yeah,
Let's go.
It's like a fajita. So that is a South African process. It's basically you take an inside round and slice it and then air dry it. So that's like the most paleo of paleo thing you can have. It's got like 5 ingredients and it's air dried.
And it's like no fat, right? Like it's
no
ridiculous.
carbs, no fat, 32 grams of protein.
If this doesn't have fat in it, it's so tender for not having fat in it.
It's because it's air dried and just minimal ingredients, so there's not like additives to it.
Dude, this is fantastic.
Yeah, biltong is like the future of jerky, right? But it's still just pricey.
Yeah, I think it is. So like for that example, like that bag will be a 1 ounce. It's 2 ounces just because of the price. You know, you got to play the foods game where you got to change the bag size, but there you go. Dump it.
Jeez, Kyle.
But it's really hard.
It's really good.
People don't know what it is
good.
because
Give me some of that.
I want your fingers.
Give me some of that. I'm going to pour it in my hand.
All right. Jeff ate, we had to drive back from St. Louis yesterday, and Jeff ate all of my seeds and didn't buy me anymore.
The sunflower seeds, I had a pinch of his sunflower seeds. Don't let
He
them
literally ate all of them, dude.
every road chef requires sunflower seeds.
Agreed. What's your favorite flavor of sunflower seeds?
I'm just a basic salt guy.
Are you serious?
You psychopath.
You are crazy.
You didn't go with the dill pickle at least?
Sleep with socks on.
I only eat those if they're free.
Yeah, I do. I do like the ranch, like the Cool Ranch sometimes, but I like the basic.
I've been really dabbling in those new Takis flavors, the Fuego.
Oh, I haven't tried that one.
Oh man,
I was resistant to it. I was like, no, Jeff, I'm not gonna buy those. I'm a dill pickle guy through and through. And then he gave me some that he bought one time, and I was like, all right, I think I've bought those specific seeds every time.
They're Flavor Town for sure.
I'm gonna have to try those.
Another favorite that are hard to find these days in the gas station world is the Frito-Lay barbecue. Been a big fan of those since day one. They come in like the $1 sleeve.
Oh yeah,
You know?
Yeah.
I can't find those anywhere, man.
Do you find yourself like buying random flavors of things because you're like you're in the food industry now and you're probably thinking all the time like I need to think about flavors. I need to be thinking about different ways that we're gonna
Well, you got kids, right?
Yeah.
And I mean, like, we can't turn this off.
Yeah.
So like my son is going to be a psycho like me. Like I literally, anytime I go in anywhere, I'm looking at packaging. I'm buying, if I see a new jerky, I'm buying it. I want to try it. I'm literally looking it up and down and everything they did in their presentation because I like it. I mean, I love what I do. So it's always fascinating, but yeah.
The flavors though, Southwest Verde, how long did it take you guys to come up with that? Because I've never even seen that on any jerky bag.
It was good.
So those guys are in North Carolina and they're based out of South Africa. So the company, they do Kalahari too. So which is the big biltong company. Mm-hmm. I had wanted that and then like a smoky flavor. And the first batch they sent was terrible. Right. So, cause I had tried Kalahari, I literally saw it. I was talking to a guy on a plane from South Africa randomly and he's like, have you ever tried this? So I ordered it. And then, I was like, that's amazing. So I called the bag. I literally looked up the bag, who was making it, and I called him and I kept calling him and kept calling him. I said, I want to do a bison biltong. And then we talked flavors. So that seemed to work.
So how does that process work? You ship them the meat and then they make it for you and ship it back?
Yeah.
That seems like a pretty expensive process.
It is. And that's why bison is so rare. It's difficult. Like he said, you won't be able to do it because you can't get the bison. Mm-hmm. And right now, if we were processing our own bison, it's like 2 years out because everything's so backed up with the plants and stuff.
So you guys don't own your own bison?
We do.
Yeah.
But ours aren't big enough to satisfy this whole, demand.
Is that the goal? Or are you guys working to build out enough to be able to supply your own bison?
We will. Yeah. I mean, eventually, I don't know how long it'll take. We're not, trying to rush it out there just organically.
If someone were to be turned on by this podcast, I want to try some Froning Farms Bison Jerky.
Turned on by the podcast.
Yeah. Say it
They
sensual
better
like
be.
that. If someone were to be enticed, if you will, to want to try some Froning Farms Jerky after this podcast, what would be the number one product that you guys, this is our signature product that we want you to try? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
What would that be?
So I think if I were to get one product, I would get the Bars variety pack. The bars are brand new.
The Bison Bar.
Yeah.
I'm holding one right now in my hands, guys. It's like 5 inches long, 5 by 2, if you will. Something like that.
I just want you to know, like, the meat jokes are never not funny.
I was like, here we go, dude.
Wow, guys.
Jeff's 5 inches,
Right.
Jesus H, guys.
It's
Get your minds out of the gutter. I'm literally just trying to give our listeners an idea of what a Bison Bar looks like because I hadn't even seen one before.
It's provocative.
Yeah.
Jeez, y'all. It's got this really nice, thick, texture to it.
I'd say it's kind of girthy.
Yeah, some would say. It's got a nice grid kind of look to it, like it was grilled.
That's what we were going for, was the girth. That was the first thing I was asking about in the product.
I'd rather have a thicker stick than a longer, thinner stick. You know what I mean?
I mean, that's what I've been told. I don't know.
These Bison Bars, I was having the cranberry jalapeno earlier. They're phenomenal.
Thank you.
12 grams of protein and only 160 calories. What's the fat content? Because that's typically what's higher in jerky, right? So 9 fat, 7 carb, 12 protein. It's really just an all-in-all great snack.
So the carbs come from the jalapeno cranberry. The other, because it's just you have the cranberry.
Right.
The others don't have. So none of them have no added. They're no added sugar, and it's 100%.
Yeah, the Cajun here is only 1 carb and has even more protein.
Yeah, and the cracked pepper's like, you can't really taste. It's not real peppery. It's almost like an original. It's like clean.
No, it's delicious.
I love a cracked pepper though.
I do too.
It's just, it just tastes
Let me
very
tear
much
off
clean.
the end, Kyle. Let me tear off the end. No, not that end. You ate a bite off of that.
Dude, come on, man.
You're the worst.
No, here, I'll get it for you.
Kyle's a germaphobe, but then unless it's his germ. So, anywho, what flavor should we look forward to in the future that you guys are waiting to come out with?
I like the sweet heat. So, like, I like stuff like that, like a mango and different things like that.
Like a sriracha?
Sriracha is one that I want to try. Ironically, they've been slammed, so the recipes have slowed down dramatically just because you can't get cute right now with them. I'm just trying to get production done. That's hard enough. But
no one can do variety right now.
Yeah, it's no, because we have a teriyaki and it has sugar added, and we were gonna develop like another recipe that with cleaner, but there's no way. So I mean, it's labeled as such, but it's really good because it's got sugar, but it takes time to do all that stuff.
Tell me,
it's not a ton of sugar though, right? It's only like an extra 2 grams or something.
Right,
something silly, small.
Tell me what the process is like trying to get into a big box store like Whole Foods. It seems like that would be a daunting task because when you walk into Whole Foods, it seems there's specific brands in there, and they're the specific brands that you always see. And I just imagine it would be hard to break that.
So, I mean, thankfully, like a lot of this stuff is, we're not really ready, but when we have a connection, it's ready. And this is, again, like a God thing because there's a guy that works for CrossFit HQ that he used to work for Whole Foods.
Oh, okay.
So he was talking to Rich.
Yeah.
And that's how this all came to be. And they really want the biltong, for example, because it's different.
Yeah.
And so I've been trying to get the packaging done for, 6 months because it takes forever now to get things printed and all the display. And then you have to be Whole Foods approved and everything. But the people that know, it's such a hustle. Like, I know you guys know this stuff and I love hearing these stories, but I had a guy tell me, he's like, if you go in a regional store of anything, he's like, tell people to go in every store and buy it every day. Yeah. Even if it's you. Yeah. And have people go in and ask for it.
Create demand.
Yeah. I was like, man, there's so many little smart little hustles like that.
Well, dude, that's the same thing when a lot of times we get brands that will call on us and they'll be like, you should pick up my stuff. And in my head, I'm like, you're asking me to create a demand for your product, right? Is what you're basically asking me to do because I have zero demand for your product right now. If you were smart, you'd send a ton of people in my store and you'd be like, you'd get them all to ask for it to where we were forced to carry it, you know? And I'm sure it's the same way with you guys. It's like, what you have to do is create a demand for it to make them notice like, oh, we need to be carrying this stuff.
And that's what we tried to do is develop the name, especially outside of CrossFit eventually. So like the packaging, you can't tell it has anything to do with CrossFit or Rich for a reason. Yeah. But then if you get people to try it and know, and obviously in food, you're going to have to give a lot of it away like everything. But, Yeah, there's so many really smart ways like that. I mean, you guys told me one time, I think you told me, where like some pre-workout was on TikTok and just going crazy viral or something. Then all of a sudden, you guys offer it because people kept asking for it, right?
Yeah, I mean, there's one right now we can't even carry because it's direct to consumer only.
Yeah.
But people.
Well, the difference with supplements and food products like that, and also supplements is getting to be like this because of basically what's happening in the economy. But food products, there's a higher barrier to entry than supplements. Supplements, you can find a small little hole in the wall, manufacturer to make you 10,000 units of something, and somewhat create
1,000 units.
1,000
Really?
units.
1,000 units of a pre-workout.
I mean, could you imagine just being like, hey, we just want 1,000 of these? Every food manufacturer would be like, absolutely no.
Yeah. So that's how you get all those private labeled things.
Yeah. It's as easy to start a supplement company as it is to start an apparel company.
Have you ever walked into a supplement store and you looked around and you're like, I don't know any of these brands?
Yes.
Or they're just or they give you something that the label looks like it was made in their basement. It's because basically there is a low barrier to entry to make a supplement.
I did not know that.
There's a ton of supplement companies out there that are just private labeled. Basically they slap their label on, somebody else's product.
Yeah. And it happens in meat too. I mean, again, we're using the same manufacturer. We may use the similar recipe. It's fine. That's just the way it is. We're gonna do our thing.
You guys coming out with some meat sticks?
No,
that aren't bison.
No, we'll be bison for now. Okay. I mean,
can you not do a meat stick that's bison?
We do a bison stick and we do a bison bar.
Yeah.
But we'll do half sticks eventually. Yeah. But we're staying bison for now. But who knows? Yeah. I mean, we may not be able to get it someday. So we'll do whatever. But I think you guys feel the same as I do, because I told the guy that processes for you guys, I'm like, dude, these are like literally my cabinet is full of their stuff. Yeah. So I listen to multiple of their people's podcasts. Like, competition's the best thing in the world. Like, you motivate me, I motivate you, it's it's not that way.
You want the whole industry to grow. You want this specific, you want more people eating meat snacks.
That's exactly right. In that space, in that fitness store, it's great. I mean, we've talked about it. I've dropped off samples to you guys many times. It's like, that doesn't hurt anybody.
No doubt, man.
To go buy it and consider that, that's a way healthier snack than throwing something else.
As far as in the fitness industry too, I actually was just having this conversation with a guy that goes to my gym today. He was down. He's like, man, I'm down. What did he tell me? He was down from 195 down to 180. And he said that he was like, man, but I did an in-body scan. I'm losing a bunch of muscle. I don't think I'm getting enough protein. And I was like, well, there's lots of different things you can do for protein. You could do protein. He's like, man, I'm just, I'm already slamming down 3 protein shakes a day. I still can't get enough protein. He's like, I'm tired, meat costs are going up and blah, blah, blah. So increasing the market for quick, convenient protein is super. I mean, I think that's only going to continue to grow because so many people are protein deficient, especially a lot of people that want to be in better shape, and so I think that market demographic, there's so much opportunity there because it's limited, right? You have protein powders, you have cottage cheese, you have, what are some other ones?
I'm just saying
peanut butter.
I mean,
peanut butter, but peanut butter is so high in fat that a lot of people don't want to do peanut butter.
I'm just thinking in terms of what people think of when they think of beef jerky, right? I mean, over the years, we grew up with literally having
Slim Jim.
Well, we had Slim Jims, and then we had 1 or 2 other brands. Yeah. You know what I mean? And then Jack Link's started to blow up. Name another big one that I can't think of. It was Jack Link's really just kind of dominated there.
Well,
for a while.
Had Epic. And Epic is a perfect example.
Epic bars.
Yeah, but
but those were not in gas stations.
No.
I'm talking you don't have to be a health
What was
enthusiast.
the one in Hickory Creek or whatever, that yellow packaging or whatever that was?
Yeah. That's so there was 2 different types of jerkies, right?
Yeah.
So when we were all growing up, jerky wasn't nearly as big of a of a marketplace, right? And so you had Jack Link's whenever jerky started to take off and to be more mainstream, because before that it was just bark. Right. It was honestly what I consider to be some of my favorite jerky, but most people don't even know what that jerky tastes like, because it tastes like, leather.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
You know what I mean? It's the chewiest type of stuff you could possibly get. And then all of a sudden you got these snack sticks, the Slim Jims and all these others that are getting into the game. And it's not exactly beef jerky. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And I think it's good with the whole food diets. And I'm not a huge diet term person, but I mean, it's not bad if you're eating meat. Just meat, you're adding a few ingredients to it, but it's just, cooked meat.
Yeah.
Smoked meat. It's not, you can eat it. A lot of people like, I'd throw it in my backpack because I get busy and I don't eat. What's one of my biggest, flaws. But a lot of people that do have it at their gym, they'll just like fit aid in a bar. Right. And they walk out of the gym and that's like perfect for them because they can't, they don't want to drink a shake right now. I'm sweating. I'm hot. I don't want to drink a shake. And
want something refreshing.
Yeah. So it's just quick and easy.
And then all these new jerkies are coming out. So like me as somebody who's always looking at macros on stuff and always trying to like eat for convenience, but also don't want to eat like total crap. Right. So I'm looking at these jerkies and it's like now this stuff is like all these like tender cuts and they're like super high in sugar.
Yeah.
And so when you show me that biltong, that label, I was just like, how is this possible? Because it tastes so good and it has the macros of a chicken breast.
Yeah.
And it's legitimately the delicious macros of a chicken breast. Like it's legitimately like 30 grams of protein and 1 gram of fat and no carbs.
And it's just because it's so dense because it's air dried instead of cooked and rendered off. So with that, it's like taking a steak, like a fillet, and slicing it and then hanging it and putting it, very little ingredients. That's going to be super protein dense.
It's unheard of. Like, I mean, guys, anybody who's listening to this who hasn't tried this yet, you go try it because it's crazy.
It was good.
But because it's so tender and so small, it's like difficult to eat compared to other jerkies in that sense.
Yeah. And I think people think it's tongue. They hear biltong and they really think it's tongue.
Yeah.
Now, if you know anybody that's ever been to a South African butcher or ever been there on vacation, they just lose their mind for it, right? And then they tell me how bad it sucks because it's not as good as the real original stuff. But, inevitably, they know what it is. But I think it'll get there. What I've heard is more people are it's just like we said with First Form coming out with stuff. The more awareness in the industry, the more knowledge, the more people trying it. It's just a good thing.
Who's the, in the fitness space, who's the number one jerky?
Oh, man. Trying to think who we see at a lot of the events.
Does Epic still try?
No, since they sold, they haven't. I mean, they made it possible for all of us. So again, I love Epic. I love their packaging. I don't like their bars; they don't taste great, but they were phenomenal for what we have.
They definitely tasted the opposite of that. They were dry.
Yeah.
I'll never forget getting Epic for the first time. We worked about 3 doors down from a little store called Mama Jean's Natural Food Market in Springfield. And I would go down there trying to get like a healthy snack or whatever, and I found those, and I'll never forget spending like $6 on this like tiny like
block of meat,
the Epic bar, you know, and it was like it was like the cranberry, something like that. And I just remember thinking in my head like, oh my gosh, I'm still so hungry after eating this. Yeah. It was like a nugget. It was like half the size of your guys' bar.
Yeah.
For real.
And and theirs were like so expensive. I remember that too. But I think for like, if you go into certain settings, like you fly, or you're in a gas station. Now, it's way better than it used to be, but I'm with you. I like to eat really clean, but I also want convenience. I'm a single dad. Like, I'm not pre-cooking everything and meal prepping and everything, so anything easy. Like, airports, notoriously terrible food. Movie theaters, notoriously terrible food. Like, you can't get anything healthy, and not that you're trying to be fit at a theater, but like maybe hungry or whatever.
But you may actually try to be fit at a theater.
Yeah. I mean, there's a lot of different, even games, baseball game, football game. There's a lot of different things. Hiking, of course, they generally have good stuff, but there's things that's just quick and easy that makes so much sense to me.
Dude, I'm a believer, man. We're gonna try to get this in our stores.
Yeah. What specific issues you had talked a little bit about COVID and having issues with Facebook changing up their algorithms. What specific issues do you think were the biggest problem for you guys through COVID? Because I feel like as a small business owner, like we are, it was just, it wreaked havoc on all of us for, a year or two.
Yeah.
I mean, we're all still feeling the effects right now.
Yeah. I know. I was about to say it's only getting worse with the inflation.
Yeah. I mean, if anybody's been through it, you just got to be humble and say, hey, this was awful. I mean, production has been terrible. It used to be I could say 2 weeks out, I don't have to be that smart with my inventory. I could go, oh man, we had a good weekend. Now, at some point when it was at its highest, it's 10 weeks.
Yeah.
So that means you either have to buy a lot of inventory and spend a lot of money and wait to produce it, or just constantly be, hey, we're running out of this, That's really hard and humbling, honestly, because when we're growing, we honestly grew so fast in a good way, but then you're like, okay, I'm going to pay for this later. You know what I mean? Like there's processes that I know we skipped over.
Yeah.
And we have, and just so much negativity with just things like, are you kidding me? Like, cause I'm a perfectionist in the packaging. I wanted our packaging like completely done like a year ago, and it's like 3 weeks out. goes from 3 weeks out, to like 3 months out, 4 months out, and
on just the packaging.
Just the packaging.
So we're talking like your product is done. You just literally have to put it in something.
So that bar came out in January, should have been out last January.
Oh,
I mean, that's just how long it took. Now there's many other reasons too, but it's just stuff like that you just like have to remember, and you get frustrated and down. And then of course, if you run out of stuff for a while, you're going to have bad sales. And that's where just my team, and I'm so thankful for, because we remember our why. And the whole end of the storm. And so what we did with that, I mean, it's a cool shirt, and Rich did come up with it. I was trying to nerd out and go with our like whole business planning document, and he sent me an article from the Tennessean about End of the Storm. He's like, this is what we're doing. I'm like, yeah, it's really, really cool. Thank you. But we started doing more testimonial stuff where people were facing storms, and then we've got stories that we haven't even told where people were like going through stuff. Yeah. Personal stories about losing a child. Oh, wow. And just like gut-wrenching stuff, but that was their motto of fighting cancer. And I'm like, okay, this is what it's about. Yeah. Like, I set out to help people. I've done all the good things and bad things in my life. Like, this can be consistent. If I'm focusing on the dollar today, it's going to be up and down all the time.
Yeah. And for our listeners who haven't heard that story before, Froning Farms' mascot is a bison, an actual bison. And what does Into the Storm mean for a bison?
So when a storm comes, cattle go away from the storm. They kind of walk away or run away from the storm. A bison literally turns into the storm and faces it and charges the storm. So if you're an alpha male or alpha female, you literally just like, all right, I'm ready to go. That's pretty legit. But there's so many metaphors to it, and it's so cool because I think we can all see, like, we just went through a storm, right? Mm-hmm. And I wasn't sitting, outside relaxing, thinking everything's really peaceful. I mean, I was stressed a lot of it. So but you got to face it, and once we face it, we move on and we fight it.
Deal with the adversity. Don't just push it off.
But to me,
I love that, dude. That's awesome.
Yeah, to me, especially with the fitness community, with like the CrossFit boxes and stuff being closed down, and I'm like, I don't like this. Yeah, I'm not, not okay. We need to get through this. And so I just think as we get that story told more, to people, and you could even take it as a herd, they face it as a herd. We're stronger as a herd to face the storm and get through it.
Oh, that shirt's coming soon.
Yeah. But it matters to me, the side of the people going through things and sharing it with you, and knowing that we had an impact on that kind of. I mean, I had one night I can vividly remember, like, I had it like about a year ago. I'm like, this is ridiculous. Like, I was pissed about multiple things at multiple people. And, one of those times where I'm about to send an email that I shouldn't send at night, and Matt's wife sends me a screenshot of somebody that sent us a message that was a heartfelt story about a kid where they had a family and they were wearing the shirt and their kid got sick and didn't make it. Oh, and it was just like, but it was so thankful and appreciative. And we had sent them some stuff, because we generally do that. We don't market it well, but if somebody's got something or doing something, it's a big part of, what we want to do.
You guys give back to the community quite a bit.
Yeah. I mean, I try to. I'm better at giving it away than making it.
I mean, dude, we, 2020, this isn't to like promote ourselves, but I think you might have already forgot this because you've done it so many times, but we put together some gift bags for all of the local trainers and gym owners and instructors that had to be, they were out of work during the shutdown. We put together these like little goodie bags, and we don't sell Froning Farms at our stores, but we just reached out to people that we're friends with, and Adam was one of them, and he volunteered probably 200 bison sticks to put in all these bags to get out to all these trainers.
I had at home.
Yeah, he came up the next day and dropped it all off along with a couple shirts and stuff, and dude, it just went a long way.
That selflessness, though, that's how you win long term, man. A lot of people, they get caught up in, wanting to maximize profit and worrying about every little, nook and cranny of ways of making money. And they don't step back and see the bigger picture and realize that, if I put good out there, good's going to come back to me. And I love that you guys have that mentality.
I mean, you guys live it. We did a camp last summer, Speed and Agility, and you guys show up to speak to kids, inner city kids, to help. That's the type of people that you want to be around. Yeah. I mean, for some reason, our culture and a lot of, kids don't understand. We all owe somebody, right? So, I mean, I've heard Jocko talk about, hey, I owe it to the people that died before me to give my best today, even if it's just whatever. And I'm like, I agree with that, So like, the fact that I'm here talking about this, everything's been such an amazing ride that, like, yeah, that's my why, because it makes it worth it. I'm an accountant. I'm actually a CPA. Mm-hmm. The numbers don't, I mean, they're fine, you know, thankfully. Yeah. But that's not really sustainable for me versus the other. I mean, I do like stuff, you know, but those stories makes you know, like, okay, this is why I'm here. These are why the gifts I've been given are to be done.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love that, man. And honestly, like the stuff that you guys do as far as giving back to the community, another thing that I love about how you guys do it is you don't keep score. You know, you always just give selflessly and never expect anything in return. And so it's just something that if you're listening right now and you're in business and you think, you know, in your head, like, you know, there's always got to be some kind of, you know, if I do this, then what am I going to get? Like if you have that mindset, you're not going to get very far.
Is the worst.
Yeah. If then, or, you know, if you're calling on somebody and the only reason why you're calling on them is to see what you can do, what they can do to help you. You probably only have one of those calls you can make.
Yeah.
So, you know what I'm saying? Like you can only do that once and they're never going to want to help you again.
Well, and you've met LaRoche. And so
sure.
I credit him for most of this because I worked with him and I still think during that time, now he knows a lot of cool people and that doesn't suck, but Jeff and I did like a Navy SEALs training app, so we will do it again.
A Navy SEALs training app, guys. It was unbelievable.
Thanks for the invite.
You're going next time.
No, I'm going next time.
So, well, I got to tell that story because it's worthy of everybody hearing that story. Yeah, everybody needs to hear that. Well, you go ahead first.
Yeah, but that's what Adam always did. If we would ever, you know, he played baseball, and when we had the company, he was playing baseball. And he would always give credit to everybody else. And he was always just doing a lot. Now, I said, you know, he retired from baseball abruptly, left 13 men on the table. And
real quickly,
this is the greatest story in sports.
It's literally what made me a huge fan of his, because to have that kind of, you know,
conviction.
Conviction in what you stand for is amazing. Explain that story for everyone.
So, yeah, he was with the White Sox, and he had a boy, Drake, that was like 14 at the time. So they said, when he came to the White Sox, his son had a dugout, a locker, But he had a locker when Adam was with the Nationals too. His boy had his own locker, and he was in the clubhouse. But keep in mind, he's shining shoes, he's friends, he's yes sir, no sir. When he came to the White Sox, Adam didn't have his best year. He played DH instead of first base. So in the spring training, they were like, your son's not welcome in the clubhouse. Baseball money is guaranteed. So he had $13 million on the table, and he could have just literally sat in the hot tub the whole year and got his money. And he says, I'm out. They wouldn't let his son in the clubhouse, and he just walked away. And I was literally on a call with him the night he did it. So the day he did it, #1 trending thing on Facebook in the world.
I was about to say, it was a huge story at the time.
Yeah. So we had a call. He was as calm as you could be. And he's like, talked for 2 hours. And then he goes, I better get back. I got a few messages to return on my phone. But like, it says a lot where he is with his life and his goals and in his faith and everything, and where his mission is and stuff. And so
that guy knows exactly who he is.
He does.
It's amazing.
And what he's been given, I've always told people, when people retire, everybody struggles. Like I would struggle because your identity is not that. And you know those guys, they're just like, they have everything. And then to watch that and know it didn't even blink, not even count the fact that he didn't need the money. And then I've always said this, if you could be anywhere in the world, and I mean anywhere in the world, and you're choosing to go to the worst parts of the world and fight trafficking, you're special. Like, and I mean, Rich is no different. Like, he hasn't got there yet to go that trafficking, but you know, when CrossFit had some stuff come up with the guy that made comments, I mean, Rich was out. Like, he was one of the first people that came out and said, hey, he didn't consult with us. Why would he? Doesn't have to, right?
Yeah.
But he's like, this is out. He didn't consider how it would affect his career, or, you know, there may be no CrossFit for me. This is how I made my living. Like, he was out. And I don't think people realize, like, when there's a lot of money at stake and you don't even blink, that's impressive as heck.
Yeah.
I mean, it just is for anybody.
Just right is right. And
right is right. Wrong never will be, right?
Yeah. That's wild, man. So Adam LaRoche does these military training ops at his ranch. He's got like how many acres out there?
A lot.
A ton of acreage. And
he owns all of, what is it, Fort Scott?
Yeah, pretty much, yeah.
Yeah. So Adam Gross and LaRoche grew up in Fort Scott, right?
Yeah.
And so Adam is always like, hey man, we're going to go out to Adam's ranch and we'll shoot some guns and, have some good old time out there and lots of land, etc. And he's like, dude, we need to go out there and do that, and I was like, yeah, absolutely. Just let me know when you want to do it. And so one morning I was at the gym, and I get a call from Adam and he said, hey man, I'm going to go out to Adam LaRoche's today if you want to come with. I said, oh, okay, cool. All right. Yeah. Like when do you want to go? And he said, oh, I'm leaving in about an hour. I said, perfect. So I was wearing like, a t-shirt and like, imagine like some classic joggers pants and tennis shoes. And that was it. And I thought that'd be pretty good to go out to the farm to shoot with, cause I was going to get dirty or whatever. So we go out there and I start learning more and more about what we're doing. And Adam, you are so good at just not telling anything. And you didn't really know what was going to be going on either, right?
I didn't know that all the people would be there. Yeah.
Yeah. So we get out and the first people that meet me, and I'm like, are these the dudes from Dude Perfect?
Yep.
And sure enough, by the way, whenever I'm wearing a backwards hat, people ask me if I'm the lead guy from,
I can see it.
People ask me if I'm that guy all the time.
I can see it.
I forgot even his name. I think it's like Tyler or something.
Tyler.
And so anyways, he's super nice, but we meet those guys and I was like, dude, you're the guys from Dude Perfect. Holy shit. Okay. And they're like wearing all this military stuff. Yeah. They look like really ready to go. Like they're ready to do like an operation. I'm wearing a t-shirt and gym pants, feeling pretty out of place. Then we go inside. Chuck Liddell is in there.
Yeah.
So Chuck Liddell's
your story about Chuck Liddell is hilarious.
Yeah. I mean, it was awesome. So then Chuck Liddell's in there. Tim Tebow's in there. Who else? Help me out.
Dave Ramsey.
Chase Rice.
Yeah.
Who else?
Matheny was there.
Mike Matheny?
Yeah.
I don't remember seeing him.
He was geared up like a champ, man.
He was like head to toe.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. I didn't see him actually. There was so many people there and I was like, what are these people doing here? Right.
Yeah.
And there was an actual Navy SEAL team.
It was Dev Gru.
It was
SEAL
Dev
Team
Gru.
6. Yep.
It was actual Dev Gru. And they were all going through these training operations and, it was all very serious. So I'm sitting down next to this guy who used to be former FBI. And this was absolutely incredible. Yeah. Like I'm sitting at the most like pedestrian table you guys could possibly imagine. Like imagine like a wooden, like an old crappy table possible. Yeah. Right. And this guy's like sitting here, like wiring up bugs next to me so he can, place these and obviously listen to the intel. So basically everybody in this barn were all the terrorists. And we were all on purpose being terrorists going against the Navy SEALs that were going through training, right? Am I saying this correctly?
They had no chance.
Yeah. The SEALs had no chance.
No chance.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was a terrorist, to be clear. We
were killing them. I mean, for sure. Like we were obviously better than the SEALs in this instance. But I'm talking to this FBI guy and I was like, so what do you do now? And he was like, well, I'm fluent in Arabic.
Hostage negotiations.
And I'm actually a professional hostage negotiator.
Yeah.
And I said, that's a real job. Yeah. Okay. I'm like, I always thought that was kind of a joke, but that's real. Okay. And he's like, yeah. So I was like, well, give me an example of like, I was like being that guy. I was like, I'm going to ask all the questions.
Oh, yeah.
So I was like, all right, $30 million is the most money someone has tried to do a ransom for. On a hostage. And he was like, I can usually talk him down 90%.
Yeah.
That's like my average
His
number.
whole process.
He's like, if they offered 30 million, he's like, I can get him to take 2.
Yeah.
And I was like, for real? And he's like, yeah. And I was like, and you just do all this in Arabic? And he's like, absolutely. I'm like, that is incredible. And he was talking about how he's like, oh, you guys want to watch the Navy SEALs when they went into Domino's earlier today. And he like showed us the footage that he had, like he had set up a hidden camera. He's like, yeah, we got him at Domino's today. We pinged him there. Like he had all kinds of surveillance stuff all set up around the Fort Scott.
Fort Scott.
Yeah,
he could mirror your phone, like if sitting across the table. He did my brother's, and we're all sitting there, and nobody touched anything, and his phone lit up with my brother's contact calling him.
No way.
Yeah, we were sitting there. I was like, "Whoa!" My brother.
Well, to not expect the government to be able to do whatever they want with your phone.
But he's not FBI anymore. He's a pedestrian.
Yeah,
he's just you or me.
Well,
he's a civilian.
As far as you guys know,
right?
But
yeah. Right. Well, that's man. It was. But wild.
He looked like a normal guy too. That's the scary part.
He looked less than normal. He looked like a dork. Let's just be real.
Well, yeah, dude. He's probably a genius.
He was dude. He was one of the most smart guys I'd ever talked to. I could have listened to him all day. I'm so interested when I talk to somebody who's got a crazy amount of intelligence. Like I can sit there and listen to him all day. And that guy, I was like, oh, I wish I could ask him so many more questions.
Well, that was during the pandemic, and what they were doing is like they were threatening to shut down hospitals, like the grid and their power.
That's
and,
right.
and it's a real
That's
thing.
right.
I mean, we don't hear about it.
He said one actually did get shut down in France. That's what happened. Yeah, he said this was like one of the, like the worst ones he had to deal with because he was with the French government.
Wow.
And somebody was trying to shut down an entire hospital. And in that hospital was a family member of somebody in the government that was high up, et cetera. And, they were trying to negotiate it down or whatever. And then they turned off the power at this hospital. And I was like, so what happened to these terrorists or whatever? And he was just like, they died. He said, he was like, he looked me straight in the eye and he was like, the best, he named off what the French, Navy SEALs were. I don't know what the name of them were. And he's like, they went and got them 3 days later. He's like, it was done.
Yeah.
He's like, they weren't breathing a week later.
I like how they talk about it like I had a sandwich for lunch too. And when they do that, it's crazy.
It was exactly like that. Yeah. And anyways, yeah. So that was just like a subtle story off to the side. Then the actual military thing went down and I'm in this house. We're in like an abandoned home, which wasn't abandoned at all. Yeah. It was just on the property. But this is what the Navy SEALs did. As soon as the night went down, as soon as it got remotely dark, these helicopters came in and they're loud as hell, right? These big military helicopters. What do you even call them?
Blackhawks?
Blackhawks. Yeah.
And they had them flying directly over where we were. And it was really just up in the sky just to be like a total intimidation factor.
But did you know they weren't even on them?
Yeah.
It was a distraction.
Giant distraction.
They snuck in under the vehicles or whatever, some craziness.
Really?
People drove in on Humvees, but they had everybody staring at the helicopters.
Yeah.
And so the Humvees came in a different direction completely to misdirect you. And we're all stuck in this house, just basically playing Call of Duty in real life, waiting for people to come in and try to kill us.
Did you guys have paintball guns or what?
Dude, it was terrifying.
Simunitions. So basically paintball, it's a real gun, but with the plastic bullets, it hurts.
Yeah.
There was sim ammo in there.
Yeah.
And they really,
Did you get lit up?
Dude, I'll explain.
G.I. Jeff.
Yeah, dude. So
G.I. Jeff.
I'm on the top of this loft area and I'm staring down the door window, just waiting. And dude, it was terrifying. Imagine you have a Navy SEAL team coming in with fully loaded ammo, just coming in to literally shoot you. And and I was talking to all the, because there was a ton of military trainers that were on the terrorist side. And so we're talking to all the military trainers and we're so how do we handle this? How do we handle that? If they show up, do I shoot them? And he's like, well, shoot them once and then say you're dead. Say bang, bang, you're dead. And then if they don't, they don't listen, then you can shoot them and then say bang, you're dead. And he's like, and if you shoot them anywhere close to the face, they're just going to light you up.
Oh yeah.
So he's like, just know that they're going to light you up. And so I was like, okay, don't shoot him near the head. Got it. So then I'm thinking about it. I'm up in this loft, right?
You're hitting headshot.
So if they walk in, all I have is a headshot, right? I can just aim directly down on them. That's all I got. So I actually spotted the SEALs coming in first and I was like, they're coming in on this door. There was 3 entrances and we were guarding each one. And I was like, they're coming in on this one. And dude, just imagine them being super sneaky, but we know they're coming. So he opens the door, turns it the knob without trying to make any noise and subtly opens it. And you can see him doing all the hand signals and everything. And I'm just watching up above in my perch, ready to just
Can you not shoot him at that point?
I could have, but I would
shoot him.
I would have shot him right in the head.
Yeah, dude, you got to take that one.
So he walks in and then I go, bang, bang, you're dead. And he turns around, looks up, looks right at me. And I go, bang, you're dead. And then he just shoots me.
Oh yeah. They don't go down.
They don't go down. I was like, what the fuck? I was so pissed.
They're trained not to go down too. That's just the thing.
But I was like, I just missed my chance to just light this dude up. But I definitely died. And dude, some guy yelled, what did you have to yell if you got shot or something besides you're dead? I don't remember what he yelled.
I can't remember what.
But do you remember that dude just
the one dude got blown up by the flashbang?
They were throwing multiple flashbangs in the house.
Blew his arm up.
Dude, this guy,
it actually hurt him?
Yeah, one of our guys, yeah.
Yeah, he threw a flashbang up there and it blew up right next to him.
Yeah.
And he was like, oh, fuck. Just screaming at the top of his lungs. And then they lit him up with the gun on top of it. He was
he
not
did not
happy.
Look good.
Yeah. And afterwards,
I love that they just brought you in. No waivers. You don't know what you're doing. You're wearing sweatpants.
Incredible.
And you're hey, we're going to put you in this house with the most deadly people on earth and good luck.
So we get back to the barn after we die, when the simulation's still going on. So we're inside the barn and we walk in and we're telling the story to Tim Tebow. And Tim Tebow was like, oh, that sucks, bro. They lit you up like that. And I was like, oh, Tim. Yeah. Classic Tim, just joking with me. And then he's like, you should have seen what we did.
So
this is the best part.
So this is the best part.
I'll let Adam tell this.
So I had done one before, and we walked around like out in the field for like 5 hours in the heat the summer before. And they came back to the building we were in, and so I got to watch them through the glass, like come up like it was like a movie, right?
Right.
And I was literally going to jump out like Tropic Thunder and just let it fly, like, 10 feet range, like whatever. This is how I go out.
Yeah.
I did it. My gun jammed.
Oh, no.
And so did the guy, the ex-Marine. Thank God he was there, so make me not feel as bad, but his did too. So then we had to be like, oh man, I'm down. So this year I was like, I'm getting a better
shooting one this time.
I'm shooting something. I'm letting them all go.
That's how I feel about this year.
So when Chuck was there, like
Chuck Liddell, by the way, he's just saying Chuck because he's personal friends with him. But
I don't know. I'm not. So they tell you in the training, like the course before, like do not fight them.
Yeah.
If you
they
fight
call that
them,
hands-on.
Yeah, hands-on.
Don't go hands-on with the SEALs.
Correct. And they'll just hurt you bad. And a lot of times they have people that do, like they were ex-military and they like cheap shot them and it's like bad. They send them to the hospital. It's not uncommon. So it's like, that's the last thing that I would want to do with train killers. And keep in mind, we could talk about this after this too. Not all these SEALs were not huge guys.
Yeah.
No.
Which it's obviously more mindset too. But so Chuck, as called the Iceman, is really calm. And he's like, I'm going to take one down. I'm going to tackle him.
We're going to do hands-on.
Yeah, we're going to do hands-on. And we're just like, what? So I was supposed to be with Jeff in the building, and I'm like, oh, no.
I'm going to go watch this hands-on.
I'm standing right by where Chuck tackles the guy because I have to see this. So that's my whole thing was I was standing there.
So he was told to do this? Or no, Chuck was like...
It was Chuck's idea.
It was Chuck's idea.
What a psycho.
And they were it was in the barn, too.
And so the barn is a still building.
Yeah.
So keep in mind, they throw in the flashbangs through, which, you look at a video game and you see somebody get like stunned.
Yeah.
It's real. So that was so loud when it came close to us. And they did just like Jeff said, they distract you one way and they go the other. I mean, I had a dot on me in like 10 seconds.
Yeah. But
I didn't care. I'm like, whatever. I'm shooting my whole clip. I don't care. I'm like not going through this. So I just like fired off at their direction. So I don't know. But I wanted to get it out of my gun so I could go watch Chuck. He was like hiding behind this net.
Just waiting for someone to walk by.
Yeah. So he let him go. It was actually the hitting net, like, because Adam has a baseball net in there still. And two guys go in, and like I thought he was going to get the first guy. So the second guy goes in. He does a double leg takedown from behind. He's got him in rear naked choke. And Chase Rice actually recorded the video. He was doing like me. He's like, all I want to do is see this.
I just want to watch Chuck Liddell take out a Navy SEAL. Yeah.
So then, because Chuck was like, none of these guys can beat me at jiu-jitsu, clearly. But after he was over, the way he's talking, like anybody that's got a mouth, like we've gotten instances, even if you don't get in a fight, somebody pushes you, you're like adrenaline's up and you're just like, oh God, even little guys like me that have tried to be tough once or twice, like, he wasn't even like that. He was like so calm afterwards. He's like, hey man, yeah, I got him and I had him in a naked choke and the guy was like really cool from behind, like, you done? And he's like, yeah. He's like, he could have hit me with the back of his gun and he was really cool about it. I'm like,
I thought two other SEAls like came up to him and they were like pulling Chuck off of him.
Yes, but that's what I mean. He was like, I let him go because two guys were going to hit me in the back of the head with a gun. And like, how are you saying this normal tone?
But what's so awesome about it on top of that was Tim Tebow was in the corner lighting those two SEAls up with his gun. Tim Tebow was chilling in the corner of this like the baseball net hitting area or whatever. And so after Chuck Liddell takes this one dude out, the other two guys are like trying to pull him off, and Tim Tebow's just lighting him up. It's awesome.
Say what you will about Tim Tebow, but he loves winning. He's just like, I'm gonna take these guys out. I don't know what they're doing.
And then afterwards, we got to hang out with all of them, and I didn't know I was with Dave Ramsey at the time.
Yeah.
That was pretty funny. I was on like Dave basis with this dude, and I had no idea it was Dave Ramsey.
So I didn't either until he started talking.
Yeah.
And then I feel like he's lecturing me on my mortgage payment or something. But he was a super cool guy.
He was super down to earth. I remember he was trying to take pictures of the Navy SEALs, but everybody was like, no phones, no cameras. And Tim Tebow had to be like, hey man, take that phone down. And like had to tell Dave Ramsey to put his phone down. But afterwards, he was like, you want to smoke a cigar? And I was like, okay. So I started smoking a cigar with Dave Ramsey. And I was just like,
who are you?
Yeah, we were talking about all the best food in Kansas City, which is hilarious because that's really what we talked about. He was like, man, you know what I love is this place. And I was like, oh, you need to try this place. And I thought he was like a local dude because there was a lot of local,
Kansas
friends.
City people.
Yeah, a lot of Fort Scott friends of Upper Roches and Chiefs. Yeah, dude, there's just a lot. It was like a big family event, really. Yeah. We talked a lot about these, like name dropping these celebrities and stuff, but there was 100 other people that, were just, like people like you and me. And so I just thought he was one of those guys. And he reminded me a lot of my dad. And so we were just sitting there talking about all kinds of cool stuff. And then afterwards, he made sure to be like, "Hey, Jeff, it was really nice to meet you." And I was saying bye to everybody. He like went out of his way to be like really kind and was just like, "Hey, it was really great to meet you, Jeff." I'm like, "Oh, Dave, nice to meet you too, man." And then we got in the car and Adam's like, "Man, you really hit it off with Dave Ramsey." Yeah. And I was like, "That was Dave Ramsey?"
You should have just been like, dude, I'm so over leveraged, Dave. What do I do?
Yeah, dude.
I've been taking loans out on everything. He'd be like, oh, no.
Oh, hey, man,
So
I bought a car cash.
Mortgage. That's what you advise, right? Get many credit cards, right?
Yeah, I've been maxing out these credit cards, man. I just,
good idea,
whenever
right?
I max one out, I get another one.
0%. Just keep flipping it. That's your trick, right?
When so we were talking about Kansas City food. This is a question we have to ask everybody. Every one of our guests goes down this path. If you could have one Kansas City barbecue meal before you die, what's it going to be?
Q39.
Man, we were just batting 1,000 right now in the Q39.
It wasn't always that either. I used to live by when it was Joe's Kansas City or whatever, Oklahoma Joe's.
You're saying it's different now?
Joe's Kansas. No, I don't know if it's different, but Q39 is just better in my opinion.
I think when you have such an incredible experience like that, you can have at Q39, especially if you're not even looking at the prices on the menu and you're just getting whatever you want. You start to look at Joe's a little different because it's just like a sandwich place, more or less, comparatively, right? Doesn't have a full-on experience except for waiting in a
the Z-Man is line. Really good.
It is, and I think the gas station, the original one, was kind of the allure. Like, I think that, to their credit, that was a big part of the story.
Yeah.
But if you were going to line them up, to me, it's not close.
The Rocket Pig is phenomenal, too. I'm a spicy sandwich guy, and then their fries are next level.
Where's that at?
Dude, I'm saying at Joe's.
Oh,
Joe's has the Rocket
Pig
now, which is like a fried jalapenos on it, which is
I've never had that.
Phenomenal.
Yeah.
And then their fries, I think, are like up there with the best fries. But
their fries are really good.
Yeah, but sometimes you got to wait in a long line to get those.
Yeah.
Have you guys ever had the barbecue at County Road Ice House?
No.
They say it's right there in Power and Light. It's got a Joe's barbecue there.
Oh, really?
So it's like if you want to have Joe's barbecue but don't have to wait in the Joe's line, just go to County Road Ice House. Yeah. So, fun fact.
That is.
That's all Joe's barbecue inside there.
I did not know that.
Mm-hmm. So, last question that we're going to start doing. This is something that I think is going to be really cool. And this was actually, this idea was given to me by Andy from Camo Athletics. We need to give him a big shout out here.
Yeah.
So Andy gave us this. Who do you think we should have on our podcast? Give us somebody here local that you feel like would be a good person to bring on.
LaRoche.
LaRoche?
Yeah.
That'd be an amazing person to have on our podcast.
Yeah, he'd want to talk about the trafficking. They have Christine's Place, which is a house here for women, like a shelter.
Do you think he would have the time to do such things?
Yeah, he just got it. He's a pain, but you could get it.
Okay.
Because you're not too far.
Might have to travel for him.
Well, maybe. Yeah, that would probably be the way to do it. But
yeah.
I think especially if it's for the cause, for his mission,
absolutely.
He would do it. And Christine's Place isn't actually that far from where we are right now.
Who's Christine? I'm sorry.
Christine was she had been rescued, and she's a real person here in Kansas City, but she had been freed from being trafficked, and then they have her place, so it's like a shelter for women.
Oh, fantastic!
Yeah, it's over.
Is it called Christine's Place?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So in something like that to promote that, because he will do that.
We should have her and him on then. That'd be awesome if she would be open to it. That'd be amazing.
Yeah, he would be open to it. I mean, again, how do you get that many good people in the one place? It's not for money.
Yeah.
None of those guys are taking money. They all have it. All of those guys.
Dude, I love that.
Are faith based, and the connections that happened there were fascinating. Like Jeremy with Rescue Freedom that you met that does the anti-trafficking, he got with Tim Tebow's foundation. Now, have you seen how much Tebow's been doing with the anti-trafficking?
Oh my gosh, so much.
Some of that stuff started there, so it's kind of interesting.
Mm-hmm. Dude, the didn't they bust 300 people? It was they had a huge bust recently that they were responsible for.
Here locally?
Or was it in Texas?
I don't know the story.
Yeah,
I don't either.
You're saying LaRoche was in charge?
And Sherman. Sherman and Adam are both.
Yeah, they're both working on it.
They're Homeland Security now.
Yeah.
Did you know that?
Yeah,
you did. Yeah,
actual Homeland Security.
Yeah, our old fullback is Homeland Security.
I think that's where I had heard it was that because the Chiefs had posted something about it. Yeah.
I knew they were working on a real big one not long ago, and it did stretch a while.
Yeah, maybe it was like 3 different states. I don't know. Look into it if you're listening to the podcast. Those guys are doing awesome stuff, and like I said, you're right. When there's that many good people, it's people don't come together like that unless it's for a solid cause and it's a good person that's actually at the foundation of that cause.
The charity that Froning Farms you guys donate to the most, is it Project Freedom?
So we did Rescue Freedom.
Rescue Freedom, I'm sorry.
Yeah. Jeremy's just, again,
phenomenal dude.
Just like the people that I have as friends is so humbling because, the guy went to Oxford and he chose to go start a foundation to fight trafficking. So if you know what Oxford is, it's a pretty big deal that you did that. But we've done that. We do Mayhem Missions, which is Rich's foundation too. Mm-hmm. The serve shirts that we do. So we have shirts that say serve.
I love those.
The portion of those all are donated. So, the little Bible verse on the bottom of the shirt, that just keep it front and center, so it's not hidden. Mm-hmm. But I would say those two for sure. There's awesome. Lots of other little stuff, and as we grow, hopefully a lot more than that. There's stuff that people ask that we can't do right now, but
yeah.
For people that want to try Froning Farms bison, where would they be able to try it if they could possibly buy it locally?
So Element has it.
Okay, Element Fitness and Lenexa.
Supplement Superstore will have it someday.
Yeah,
and
working on that.
Amazon Rogue, of course, and our site.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's basically it locally.
Man, have you not talked to Hy-Vee? Hy-Vee's all about the local brands.
The tricky part there is we're technically based in Tennessee.
Right.
So, I would, and, Balls, Hen House, and all that, those are good, because that's my connections back to the food, but it's hard here. But I technically didn't want to go down the wholesale yet because I want to get all the packaging done and display stuff.
I totally get it.
But I do. That's why I haven't hit you guys up, because these boxes, they're 3 weeks out. Yeah. So you get the bars, but what am I going to do? Just here you go, guy. Here's a bag. Here's a Target bag full of bars.
Just hang them on your shelf and just tell people to grab in here.
Throw them, but that's why. But it is a good idea.
If they want to find you on your personal social medias and so forth, how would they be able to get a hold of you?
I wouldn't. But no, it's just the Adam Gross at Instagram.
The Adam Gross?
Yeah, like THE is it's the douchebaggery that I set it up with long ago.
My gosh, man, you're hard on yourself. That's a great Instagram name. Lastly, guys, if you have enjoyed the podcast, please make sure to share it with a friend. We do appreciate you guys listening, and also make sure to subscribe on iTunes as well as on Spotify.
Stop by the store and pick you up a Protein Bros shirt.
The Miami Vice shirts have just come out. They're available on our website for sale, or if you are local, you can go by any supplement superstores, show them that you are a fan of the Protein Bros podcast, and they will hook you up on the house.
Thanks for being here, dude.
Yeah, thank you guys.
Great talk, buddy.
Yeah.
Yep.
Thank you guys.
Talk to you guys soon. Thank you.